Hey guys, welcome to a new video. I have watched the new trailer for Tales of the Jedi, the new animated series coming out at the end of October, and I am so excited. It looks absolutely amazing, and yes, I have already overanalyzed the absolute crap out of the couple of clips we have of Ahsoka's new outfit, and we are so going to be making it in this video. Let's get started. Alright, here is all of my fabric. I do have white fabric in my closet that I'm going to use for her little sleeves already, so that's not right here. This is going to be my main fabric. It is a crushed velvet. It is two-way stretch, and I am going to be using the wrong side of it instead of the right side. The reason I got this fabric is because options were very limited at my local store, and this was pretty much the only fabric that they had that I would not have to dye. They had a couple of other fabrics that I had liked, but they were non-stretch, and I do not want non-stretch for this. I want a stretch fabric for this, so this is a two-way stretch. So we are going to be using the wrong side, and then for the accents I got this corduroy fabric, and again I am going to be using the wrong side of it as my right side. And again, they didn't have very many options, so I was very limited on what I could get. There were a couple of other fabrics that I would have liked to have gotten instead of these, but I would have had to have dyed them, and that is not currently feasible for me. Here are my two fabrics for the belt. I am planning on probably painting this one to be a little darker or painting this one to be a little lighter. This is a faux stretch suede. I absolutely love this fabric. I have used it in different colors before, and if I could have found this fabric in the correct color, I would have 100% jumped on it. And this one is a faux leather, and I will probably end up again using the wrong side of it, just so that the texture matches a little bit better with the suede. And then I have this fabric for the tabard, which I will be painting to be a more accurate color. And that's pretty much it as far as fabrics. As far as patterning and everything goes, I have a tank top right here that I will be using as my pattern for the top. And then I don't have a skirt on me or anything, but I'm just going to use a pair of shorts to get a general shape and a general idea so that I can cut out the fabric and then kind of refine it and fit it to myself from there. Alright, so I got the skirt cut out. Here is what it looks like. I think it's going to work out pretty well. I did only get 1.5 yards of this fabric, and I was hoping it would be enough to be able to do everything: skirt, shirt, her bracers, gloves, boot covers, and her shin guards. But it is not going to be enough, so I'm going to have to either go out and buy more or order more and pick it up or something. But it will be enough for at least the skirt, the shirt, and probably at least the gloves and bracers. So I think for now we're going to have to put off the boot covers and shin guards. Alright, here we are so far. Looking at these colors, they are definitely coming up a lot brighter on camera than they are in person. This is definitely a darker red than like this true red is coming up. Anyway, so I have the side detail for the skirt pinned on. I am just going to top stitch it. I would have liked to have pieced it on instead of top stitching, but at the same time I really don't feel like with trying to actually seam up around these diamonds and everything, just don't feel like it right now, so we're just going to top stitch it. So I traced out the side seam and then the top and bottom with the seam allowance because these diamonds do not line up perfectly with the bottom. This one does cut off a little bit, and this one it's hard to tell, but you can kind of see that it straightens out at the top here and then it's covered by the belts. So I drew out the side seam and then drew the general shape and size that I wanted for these, and then just went in and straightened out those lines, and then flipped it over, and then I mirrored it on that straight line that I drew out and traced it. Alright, it is all top stitched on, and it looks absolutely amazing. I am so happy with it. So now I just need to do the other side. I'm not sure if I'm going to, real quick, yes, this is a French seam because I accidentally sewed it inside out the first time I sewed the seam. Luckily I had enough room that I needed to take it in, so I just sewed a French seam instead of ripping that out. Anyway, I'm not sure if I am going to cut this extra fabric out or just leave it for now. And for now this is going to be unlined just because I don't have the fabric to line it. I do plan on lining it once I get that fabric. But that's what it looks like so far, and I'm so happy with it. So now we get to do the other side. So here it is on the side seam like that. Oh, I'm so happy. So now do the other side. Alright, the skirt is done. It is hemmed, it has a waistband, everything is finished. I am very happy with how it came out. My only complaint is I think I made it a smidge too long. It hits me about mid-thigh, and I kind of wish it was about an inch shorter. I'm gonna leave it for now. If I do end up shortening it, I will just bring the waistband down. But for now it is done and I'm pretty happy with it. So next I'm going to work on the belts. Alright, so my belts are going to be 2mm craft foam covered with my fabric. And then I am going to glue the belts together so I don't have to worry about them shifting around or anything. And I'm just going to hot glue all of this together. And I decided for this faux suede, I am going to use the wrong side of it. I'm just going to glue the fabric to the back of the belts. Once I have that done, I'm going to, get them fitted and sized and everything, and they're just going to all Velcro. I'm going to put a Velcro closure on it, and then again glue the belts together. Alright, here is the belt all glued together. It is going to be front closing because then I can hide that all underneath the buckle. And right now I do have some overlap, so I will probably trim a little bit more down, but I'm going to have a piece of Velcro here and a piece of Velcro here, and then it will just Velcro close like that and be completely covered by the buckles. So next I am going to figure out where exactly my Velcro needs to go and then just glue it on. This is all hot glued together. It seems to be holding pretty well, so that's very nice. Alright, so here is the skirt and the belt so far. I did go in and roll the skirt hem once. I did roll the waistband once, and I'm a little bit happier with the length, but looking at the details on the side, you're supposed to be able to see the top of this diamond and then kind of the start of like either the next diamond or just kind of straight up like that. So as much as I don't want to, I am going to go in and make these little side details a little bit smaller so that they are more accurate. But other than that, I am pretty happy with how everything is coming out. Alright, so to redo these diamond pieces, instead of ripping them all off and redoing the top stitching and everything, I am just going to take a heat erase pen and just draw out my new diamond shapes and then just satin stitch along the edges. And then once I have it all satin stitched, I will go in, trim off my extra fabric, and then seam rip it off. And what I'm going to do is, because I want to shorten the hem, I want to shorten the skirt because again I think it is just about an inch too long. So what I'm going to do is just straight up cut this hem along this seam, just cut it off and just move the bottom of this diamond up so I don't have to deal with the waistband or anything. And then when I draw the new diamonds, I am going to have my belts placed on here so that I can reference them. And also you do see the very top of her skirt peeking out, so just gonna place it like that and just draw out my new diamonds. And then once I do the one side and have everything trimmed and cut off and everything, I will just take that, place it on the other side, and use it as my guide to mark out the other side. Alright, so I have my new lines drawn out, and I am going to have to unpick it a little bit right here, just so that I don't have that extra bulk in the seam, but this is what it's going to look like. And I did cut off the hem already, so I am just going to keep working. Alright, so I have the one side done. It did warp the fabric a little bit because this is stretchy fabric and you are doing a lot of stitching right there. So not surprising. I'm not too worried about it. I think it'll be fine. So yeah, this is how the one side looks. I think it looks much better. So now I have it all traced out on the other side and ready to sew. Alright, here is the skirt all finished. And I re-sewed all the diamonds, re-hemmed it, and I am much happier with it. Alright, so I have the top cut out and pinned, ready to sew, and then I have one of the gloves cut out, pinned, and ready to sew. So for the shirt, I did also go ahead and just cut that neck slit in right now since I could. And I did add the collar in directly. This is how the shirt that I bought for my season 3 through 5 Ahsoka cosplay was made, and I really liked how it was because you kept the stretch of the fabric and it didn't become limited by the stitching, and also you don't have that seam right there. It does create a bit of rippling in the fabric though because you have a flat thing wrapping around a round thing. But I'm okay with it. It is the same thing that I did for my adult Mortis Ahsoka when I made it, and I honestly would prefer to do this than have the neck seam in there. Alright, I have the tabard piece cut out and pinned because I am going to double layer it so I can have a nice clean finished edge. And then so I just measured out the top about how big the belt buckle is going to be, and it measured from the bottom of the belt down to where the skirt ends, and then just extended it down. Alright, so here is the top. I've already gone through and fitted it, marked the bottom hem. I did remember to put that front center seam in. I just did like a little pin tuck thing with a zigzag stitch. And then on this side I have drawn out the little detail. Right here she's got like a little princess theme thing going on the front and back, and then some trim or edging along the arm side. I do need to go in and trim it down a little bit. And then the collar, I did make it too long on purpose so that I could fold it over, and I'm just going to stitch down the front right here and then flip it right side out, and then just stitch this down right here too. So that is the top ready for the detailing. Here is the tabard. It is sewn, flipped inside out to iron it still, and then we can start painting it. I am planning on painting the entire thing to be a bit more gray. This was the closest color I could find, and because of how flimsy or soft the fabric is, I was perfectly alright with painting it, and then depending on how much the paint stiffens it up, I might put a piece of 2mm craft foam in this. We'll see. I think the paint will be enough. And then I do have one glove. I need to hem it real quick. I do need to hem it still. And then for the corner up here, this is the elbow part, I am going to make a little 2mm craft foam piece to go in right here just to help hold the shape of it so it stays nice and rigid, and then cut another piece out of this velvet to line it and cover up that foam. Alright, here is the top so far. It is almost done. I am very happy with how it all came out. I do still need to take some heat to it to get rid of some of these lines, but I am very happy with how it all came out. I do need to iron the shoulder detail right here just to kind of flatten it out a little bit. The only thing is I cut this collar too short, so I'm going to have to trim it down and put an actual separate collar on. I really didn't want to, but I'm going to have to, so, you know, whatever. It'll be alright. But other than that, this is what it looks like. I am very happy with it. It fits very nicely. And then I do have a couple of little spots on the hem here I have to go in and fix because I popped some stitches when I tried it on, just because the this bottom hem was too tight. But I am very, very happy with it. Alright, so here is the top with the new collar on it. Very happy with it. Again, I wish I didn't have to put the seam in right here, but oh well. I do need to go in and stitch down the inside of the collar. I'm just going to do some herringbone stitches. After that, I will just need to put the little cap sleeves that she has on it. I'm pretty happy with it. It is very comfortable. I think honestly just my biggest complaint is I wish I had gotten different fabric, but again, I was very, very limited on fabric options. So all in all, I am very happy with it. Alright, so I went in and painted this. So here is the original fabric, and I painted it with a mix of gray and black, watered down gray and black acrylic paint mixed with a fabric medium. It is still pretty wet, so it will probably lighten up a little bit more. I am pretty happy with the color. I hope it does lighten up a couple shades more, so it's a bit more like this lighter spot right here. So right now I think it might be a hint too dark, but I am just going to leave it as is. And then once it is fully dry, I will paint in the markings. And those I'm planning on doing a really dark, like purpley gray color. Alright, so to finish up for tonight, I have the other glove cut out. I need to pin it and then sew it. And then these are for her little cap sleeves. This is just some, I think it's a double brushed fabric. I got it as a remnant from Joann's. And so I have two cut out for each one so I can layer it and everything. And I'm just gonna sew these together and then just kind of like top stitch them all together and then to the shirt. And then that gray stripe that she has on this bigger one, I'm just going to paint. And then I do have my belt buckles cut out. They're just, I think this is 4mm craft foam. So these are ready to be heated, painted, and then glued onto the belt. Alright, so I have her little cap sleeves made. Here are the big ones, and then here are the small ones, and I'm just gonna like stitch them together on the inside. I have these ones painted because she does have a little gray detail, a little gray like bias tape right there. I just painted mine. And then I did remake this because I was not happy with the other one. It came out a smidge darker than I wanted, but it also has some weird, it dried weird like along the seam allowance on the inside and showed up on the outside, so I just decided to remake it. So this one is currently drying. These are my belt buckles that are currently drying. I put some PVA glue on them just to help smooth them out a little bit. And yeah, I sewed the other glove, and that is where we are at right now. So I'm going to take a little bit of a break and let everything dry, and then we are going to sew all of the little cap sleeves and everything together and sew them to the shirt, and then the shirt will be done. Alright, so here is the new tabard dry. As you can see, it is lighter, which I am much happier with the color. I still got some weird dry spots going on, but whatever. I'm much happier with this one, and I also don't have fabric to make a third one, so we're going with this one. I started painting the buckles. I'm just using Deco Art Extreme Sheen. So this is only one layer. I'll probably have to do at least 2 or 3 layers. And then I have started working on the armbands. So she does have 3 armbands of varying sizes. So I have 1 inch, 1.5 inches, and 1 3/4 inches. And these are just 2mm craft foam, and then I am going to cover them in my, and I'm going to cover them in that red fabric. Alright, the tabard is all painted and it is glued to the belt. The belt has all of its closures and the buckles on it and everything. So there's a piece of Velcro right there, and there is Velcro right there, and the tabard is just glued to the back like that. And it is all done. I am very happy with it. These markings are slightly off-center just because this side kind of comes out a little bit. It doesn't go straight. If this was straight, it would be centered. It is centered. It's just because this side curves out a little bit that it doesn't look centered, but I am very, very happy with it, and that is one more piece done. Alright, and then here are my armbands. They are all done. So I just took the foam, covered it with my fabric, and then just glued the end. And then just glued the end right there, and it is done. They all fit very nicely, and I am very happy with how they all came out. So again, this one is 1 inch, this one is 1.25 inches, and this one is 1.5 inches. So that is all those pieces done. There's a skirt. I pulled the skirt out just so I can make sure that the tabard was the right length, because the end of the skirt lines up right here with the widest part of the tabard. So I just wanted to make sure that it was going to be about the same, about the right length when I glued it to the belt. So now I am going to move on to the gloves and her bracers. And those will be the last things that I do in this video, because again, I do not have enough fabric for the boot covers, so those I'm not going to worry about right now. Alright, we are so close to being done except for the boot covers and the spats, just because I still have to go get more fabric and I'm not going to be able to go until the weekend. So I'm going to finish everything else up. So I have one glove completely done. So I went in and hemmed the fingers part of it, the hand part of it. I just did it by hand using a back stitch. And then, so I was going to do the lining, and then I was going to add foam in this to help stand it up, but the 2 layers is enough for it to stand up on its own, so it's not floppy or anything. So I just went in and did a back stitch along the bottom of this inside piece because it doesn't go down all the way, and that stitch does get covered up by the bracer, which both are cut out and glued together. I am very happy with how they came out. I think they look very nice. They do have a seam down the middle right here. So these are all glued, they're fitted, they're ready to go. They just need buckles and Velcro. And then I have one buckle cut out, so it's just a simple little piece of craft foam with some rectangles cut out. So this is what it looks like. And then I'm going to paint them gold, and when I paint them I'm going to do a little bit of a dark spot right here in the middle, just to help give that illusion of the different depths that she has. I do want to keep it as just the 1 layer of 2mm foam, just so it doesn't get bulky or anything. So instead of doing multiple layers, I'll just create an illusion by painting shadows. I do have to sew the other glove still. It is all pinned and ready to go. And then here is my other bracer. Here it is, all done. I am so happy with it. Everything is fitting very nicely. It is very comfortable. Guys, I'm pretty sure this is my new favorite Ahsoka outfit. Ignore the makeup, I was filming some TikToks. I also did not make a headpiece for this cosplay because I do have a headpiece at home that would work for this. I am thinking about making a headpiece for this one because the one I have at home is, 1, at home and not here at school with me, and 2, it is technically my sister's. I did give it to her, but she lets me borrow it. So if you would like a tutorial on how to make that headpiece, that would be specifically her season 1 and 2 /3 through 5, and then the Tales of the Jedi, because they're similar they're all close enough. Let me know in the comments below and I will make a tutorial for that. So real quick, a couple of things. Again, the collar is not standing up very well, and that's just because of the fabric I use. This is pretty cheap, flimsy fabric. Again, it is a crushed velvet that I just used the wrong side of, and I keep popping stitches on this bottom hem because of how fitted it is. So I am going to have to go in and make some repairs and resew some of those. I don't want to put a zipper in this, an invisible zipper or anything. I just don't want to deal with that. It's not that big of an issue for me to go in and put a zipper in the top. Whenever I go in and repair these, I am going to stretch the fabric as I sew it, so it will give that stitching a bit more room. But other than that, I am so happy with everything. It is all super comfortable. So yeah, this is how it all turned out. I am so absolutely in love with it. I hope you guys found this helpful. I hope that you at least found it entertaining to watch. If you found it enjoyable or entertaining or helpful for you, please like and subscribe to my channel. I try to upload every other Thursday. I try to upload a full-length video every other Thursday and a short every other Friday on alternate weeks. Yeah, I will see you guys next time. Thank you for watching. Bye!